Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, I will be sharing with you on how to solve problems on sum and product of roots of a quadratic equation. But before we continue, I want to encourage you to subscribe to this channel, like the video, share the link with your friends, and also click on the notification button. Thank you very much for your kind support. All right, let's get started. This question says, if alpha and beta are the roots of the quadratic equation, 3x squared negative 4x negative 1 equals 0, find the value of A, the sum of alpha and beta, B, the product of alpha and beta, C, alpha over beta plus beta over alpha, D, 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta, E, alpha squared plus beta squared, F, alpha cube plus beta cube, G, alpha minus beta, and finally H, 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta plus 1. And so now we shall be taking them one after the other. All right, let's go on. Question A, alpha plus beta. Now, the formula for finding the sum of roots is alpha plus beta is equal negative b over a. And from the question, a is equals 3 and b is equal negative 4. So now we are going to plug this value into this formula. And once we do that, we're going to have negative parenthesis negative 4 over 3. And negative times negative is positive. So automatically this will become 4 over 3 and finally 1/3. So this is a final answer to this question and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's move on to the next one. Now question B, the product of alpha and beta. The formula for finding the product of alpha and beta is equal to C over A. And from the question, A is equal 3, B is equal negative 4, and C is equal negative 1. So now let's plug in the values. C is negative 1, so negative 1 over 3. So this is the answer to this question and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on to the next one. Question C, alpha over beta plus beta over alpha. To solve this problem, first we need to find the common denominator, and that means alpha over beta plus beta over alpha. So the common denominator can be found by simply multiplying this by beta and also multiplying this by beta. At the same time, we can multiply this by alpha and multiply this by alpha. So once that happens, then we're going to have alpha squared over alpha beta plus beta squared over alpha beta. Now that we have the common denominator, we can simply write this as alpha squared plus beta squared over alpha beta. Now the numerator can be simplified or factored as alpha plus beta squared minus 2 alpha beta over alpha beta. Now, recall that A is equal to 3, B is equal -4, and C is equal -1 from the given equation. And you remember that the sum of alpha and beta is -b over A. So we can simply square this minus 2 times the product of alpha and beta, which is C over A, over alpha and beta. The product is still C over A. Now we can simply plug in the values, and this is negative and B is -4, so we can write this -4 over A is 3. So we need to square this. So this squared minus 2 times C is -1. So we have -1 over A, which is 3, over -1 over 3. So now, remember, this negative can simply multiply this negative to give us positive. So we have +4 over 3 squared minus 2 times -1/3 over -1 over 3. So 4 over 3 squared is the same thing as 16 over 9. And -2 times -1/3 is +2 over 3 over -1/3. We can simply find the common denominator of the numerator, and that would be, we can multiply this by 3 and also multiply this by 3, and once that happens, we're going to have 16 over 9 plus 6 over 9 over -1/3. And 16 plus 6 is 22, so this will become 22 over 9. And we can simply write this as divided by -1/3. Just put this in parentheses. And 22 over 9. So change this division sign to multiplication and take the reciprocal of -1/3, and that will become -3 over 1. And now 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So this will become 22 times -1, and that would be -22 over 3. Okay, which can also be written as -7 whole number 1/3. So this is the final answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on to the next one. 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta. To solve this problem, we need to find the common denominator. And to do that, all we have to do is to multiply this by alpha, multiply this by alpha, multiply this also by beta, and multiply this by beta. So what that happens? This becomes beta over alpha beta plus alpha over alpha beta. Now that we have the common denominator, we can simply write it as a single denominator, alpha beta, and this becomes alpha plus beta, and sum of root is negative b over a all over product of root is c over a rather. So we can now negative b over a divided by c over a, and negative b over a, we can change this division sign to multiplication, and that's going to be a over c. So we can simply cancel this a from here, and this becomes negative b over c. And from the question, we have that a is equals to 3, b is equal negative 4, and c is equal negative 1. So this becomes negative 4 over negative 1. And this negative will multiply this negative, and that will become positive 4. So now have positive 4 over negative 1, and automatically positive 4 divided by negative 1, that gives you negative 4. So this is the final answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on to the next one. Question E, alpha squared plus beta squared. To solve this problem, all we have to do is to write down the formula for alpha squared plus beta squared, or we can simply factor this, and it becomes alpha plus beta squared negative 2 alpha beta. So now recall that sum of roots is negative b over a. So we can simply square this minus the product of root is c over a. Now, from the question, from the given question, we already know that a is equals to 3, b is equal negative 4, and c is equal negative 1. So now we can simply plug these values into this, and we already have a negative sign here, and b is negative 4. So to write this, first write the negative that came with the b, and now negative 4, just put that in parentheses over a is 3. So now you can square this minus 2, and c is negative 1 over 3. So this this negative can multiply this, and that becomes 4 over 3 squared, and -2 times -1/3, that will give us positive 2 over 3. So 4 squared is 16, and 3 squared is 9, plus 2 over 3. So now we need to find the common denominator, and we can do that by simply multiplying this by 3, multiplying this also by 3. So now we have 16 over 9 plus 6 over 9. So we can now add 16 to 9, to 16 to 6, and that is going to give us 22 over 9. So this is an improper fraction, so we can simply change this to proper fraction by and so when we convert this to mixed fraction, this will become 4 over 9. So this is the final answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go to the next question. Question F. Now we have alpha cube plus beta cube. To solve this problem, we have to factor this, or simply write down the formula for this, and that will be alpha plus beta times alpha squared negative alpha beta plus beta squared. So this can also be written again as alpha squared plus beta squared negative alpha beta, and we can also factor this value here, and if we do that, then this will become alpha plus beta alpha plus beta squared minus 2 alpha beta, and we can now bring in this value, just write it here, negative alpha beta. So close parenthesis. So now negative 2 alpha beta negative alpha beta, that is going to give us negative 3 alpha beta. So we can write this as alpha plus beta alpha plus beta squared negative 3 alpha beta. So now that we have successfully factored this, we can now substitute the value of the sum and product of root into this formula, and from the question, you know, a is equal 3, b is equal -4, and c is equal -1. So we can write this, which is the sum of root now, as negative b over a and negative b. This negative b over a squared negative 3 times product of root is c over a. Good. So let's just plug in these values. So negative b, and this is the value of b, negative 4 over a, which is 3, negative okay, let this negative come first, over 3. We need to square this squared, minus 3, negative 1 over 3. So let's just put this in a block bracket, and this negative multiply this negative, and that will become positive. So we have positive 4 over 3. Let's put this in parentheses. Let's use block bracket here. Then this negative will multiply this negative. Then we are going to have positive 4 over 3. We can square this, minus negative 3 times negative 1/3. That simply gives us positive 3 over 3. And this will become 4 over 3. 4 squared is 16, so we have 16. 3 squared is 9, plus 3 over 3. So let's find the common denominator. Multiply this by 3. Multiply this by 3. So this will become 4 over 3 times 16 over 9 plus 9 over 9. So 16 plus 9 is 25. So times 25 over 9. So this would be 4 times 25 is 100 over 27. So this is the answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go to the next question. Question G, alpha minus beta. To solve this problem, first we are going to find a means of deriving this question. And we can do that by simply using this expression. And this, of course, is alpha squared negative 2 alpha beta plus beta squared. So now, this can also be written as alpha squared plus beta squared negative 2 alpha beta. Now, this is the same, or you can just recall that alpha squared plus beta squared is equals to alpha plus beta squared minus 2 alpha beta. So we are going to substitute this value into this. So once that happens, then this will be equals to alpha plus beta squared minus 2 alpha beta. You can simply put that in parentheses and then bring this negative 2 alpha beta. Now, if you clear this parentheses, then you're going to have alpha plus beta squared negative 2 alpha beta negative 2 alpha beta, and negative 2 alpha beta negative 2 alpha beta, that automatically is negative 4 alpha beta. So this will become alpha plus beta squared negative 4 alpha beta. Now remember that this alpha plus alpha minus beta squared is now equals to this alpha plus beta squared minus 4 alpha beta. Now that we have been able to derive this, let this be properly written. Good. So now that we have been able to derive this, we can now take the square root of both sides in order to eliminate this square sign from here. And so that will be alpha minus beta is equal to the square root of alpha plus beta squared negative 4 alpha beta. Now recall that sum of root is negative b over a. Square this, and product of root is c over a. Put this in parentheses. From the given equation, a is equals 3, b is equal negative 4, and c is equal negative 1. So let's plug these values into this. So this would be equals to negative 4 over 3. Let's put this in parentheses and square it, minus 4 negative 1 over 3. So remember, this negative sign, we simply multiply this, and that automatically will become positive. So this will now become 4 over 3 squared negative 4 times negative 1/3. That gives you positive 4 over 3. So 4 squared is 16, and this will become 16 over 9 plus 4 over 3. So let's find the common denominator of this, and we can do that by simply multiplying 3 by 3, multiplying 4 by 3, and this will become 16 over 9 plus 12 over 9. Now that we have a common denominator, we can simply add up the numerators. 16 plus 12, that is 28. So this will become the square root of 28 over 9. Now, let's factor perfect square from this. So the numerator, this is the same thing as 4 times 7 over 9. 4 times 7 over 9. 4 and 9 are perfect squares. So the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. And so we can keep 7, not 6. Keep 7 in the radical sign. So this is the final answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on to the next one. Question H. 1 over alpha plus 1 plus 1 over beta plus 1. To solve this problem, first we need to find the common denominator of both terms. So to do that, we are going to just put this in parentheses and multiply by beta plus 1. Also multiply this by beta plus 1. In the same way, put this in parentheses, multiply by alpha plus 1, and multiply this alpha plus 1. So now that the denominator is common, we can simply 1 times beta plus 1 is beta plus 1, and plus 1 times alpha plus 1 is alpha plus 1 over the denominator is 1 plus alpha plus 1 and beta plus 1. So if we combine the numerator, we're going to have alpha plus beta plus 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 2 over so the denominator, we need to expand the denominator. We need to expand the denominator, which is this and this. So to do that, let's simply just bring it out here and do alpha plus beta alpha plus 1 and beta plus 1. So alpha times beta and alpha times 1. So alpha times beta is alpha beta, and alpha times 1 is alpha. After that, 1 times beta and 1 times 1. So 1 times beta is beta, and 1 times 1 is 1. So this will become alpha beta plus alpha plus beta plus 1. So we can simply take this and put it here as the denominator. So alpha beta plus alpha plus beta plus 1. So let's quickly take this away from here. Good. So now this can be taken as sum of roots. This is product of roots. This is sum of roots. And Sum of root is simply negative b over a, put it in parentheses, plus 2 over product of root is c over a, put this in parentheses, plus sum of root negative b over a, and then plus 1. So from the equation, we have that a is equal 3, b is equal negative 4, and c is equal negative 1. So let's substitute this value into the formula, and this is negative b over a, so this will become, and we already have negative 4 here, so this negative 4 will multiply this negative over here. Okay, so let's just put in the values. Negative 4 over a, which is 3, plus 2 over c over a, which is negative 1 over 3, plus negative 4 over 3, plus 1. So this negative will multiply this negative, negative will multiply negative to become plus, negative will multiply negative to become plus. So this will become 4 over 3 plus 2 all over negative 1/3 plus 4 over 3 plus 1. So now the numerator would be, let's just write this as over 1, and to find the, and this also over 1, and let's find the common denominator. So you can simply multiply this by 3, multiply this by 3. To find the common denominator of this, you can also multiply this by 3, multiply this by 3. So once that happens, then this will become 4 over 3 plus 3 times 2 is 6, 6 over 3 over negative 1 over 3 plus 4 over 3. So 3 times 1 plus 3 over 3. So this will be equals to, let's add 4 plus 6 is 10. So we have 10 over 3 over negative 1 plus 4 is positive 3, and 3 plus 3 is 6. So we have 6 over 3. And this can also be written as 10 over 3 divided by 6 over 3. And if we change this to multiplication, then we're going to have 10 over 3 times 3 over 6. So 3 can cancel 3 from here. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So finally, our answer is going to be 5 over 3, or 1/3. So this is the answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, so this is all we can take for today. So if you find this video useful, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like the video, share the link with your friends. Also, please remember to click on the notification button. Thank you very much for your support. I'm looking forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye-bye.